Today's message is 2 Peter chapter 3, and there's an expression used in 2 Peter chapter 3. It's called the Day of the Lord, and there are different views on what that actually means, but that's not really what the purpose of the video is. The purpose of the video is to show us that the Day of the Lord, whatever your prophetic view is, will come, and how we are to live in the light of that. It's 2 Peter chapter 3, verses 10 to 13. This is what it says: that the day of the Lord will come like a thief, and then the heavens will pass away with a roar, and the heavenly bodies will be burned up and dissolved, and the earth and the works that are done on it will be exposed. I suppose the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that one day this earth and the literal heavens, as in the sky that we see, it's all going to be changed. Since all these things are to be dissolved, what sort of people ought you to be in lives of holiness and godliness? And that really is the challenge of the passage that we're looking at today. Is, as Christians, our lives ought to be lives of holiness and godliness, and that's the challenge. Because we live in a world which is unholy and ungodly. That is, they don't think about things that are dedicated to God, and things that are pure and not right are the things that seem to dominate in the world. But the Christian life, or the way we live as a Christian, might be a better way of expressing it, ought to be lives of holiness and godliness. Then the passage goes on to say, waiting for and hastening the coming of the day of God, because of which the heavens will be set on fire and dissolved, and the heavenly bodies will melt as they burn. But according to his promise, we are waiting for new heavens and new earth in which righteousness dwells. So we see in these verses that the challenge is not just to live lives of godliness and holiness, it's also to remember that God has promised that there will be a new heavens and a new earth. This promise goes right back to the Old Testament. I think it's Isaiah 65, speaks about new heavens and new earth, and many Old Testament passages we can read right from the Old Testament prophets of how that was the case. But here we see the day of the Lord, whatever your view is on what the day of the Lord is. We know it's a time of great judgment and renewal, and it's not a metaphor, it's actually a promise from God. Peter says it will come like a thief, suddenly, unstoppable, and final. This truth isn't meant to paralyze us as Christians. It's meant to provoke us to live holy and godly lives. The future that Peter describes is not just destruction, but transformation, new heavens and new earth where righteousness will dwell. And so we're not just waiting as Christians, we're hastening his return through our witness, that is the way that we live, through our worship, that is lives dedicated, surrendered to God's will. The word worship in Hebrew just means to bow down the will. And that really is what true worship is. And prayer. And those are the three things that mark us out as living godly lives: worship, witness, and prayer. Tom Wright has said the Christian life is not about escaping earth, but preparing it for heaven. And I suppose as a Christian we then can focus on the right things in our lives. And we end with the story, missionary story, of Sophie Muller, known as Colombia's jungle evangelist. Sophie Muller lived deep in the jungle of Colombia for 40 years. She taught tribal groups to read by using the Bible and warned them of Jesus' return, that Jesus is coming back. Many responded with awe. We never knew this world was passing away, one chief said. But now we want to live in the one that is coming. And when she died, they buried her with the Bible and the inscription. She told us how to be ready. And that really is the point of 2 Peter chapter 3 in this message is let's be ready to live for the eternal world that is heaven. And of course the first step in that is knowing Jesus Christ as your Saviour, being right with God, and then living right as a Christian. And so the calling of the Christian is what kind of people ought we to be? And we'll summarize it as holy, ready, and on mission. And that's the challenge, if you are a Christian, to be holy, ready, and on mission. Thank you for listening.